Sure, you sanitize, folks.
Oh shoot. Man, welcome back. Welcome back. I know we a few minutes behind, ran into a couple technical difficulties, but y'all know what it is.
Right.
Welcome to the zone. You said what?
Nah.
Welcome to the Zone Media, man, where we all about creation, creativity, collaboration, information, inspiration, and motivation. This is your source of everything that you can get, what you get, what you get. You know what I'm saying? So definitely tune in, tap in, tell your mama's mama to tap in with us. Cause we about to have a good time. We in the mix with Shad Hitz. What's
What
up,
up?
bro?
Up? Just chilling. Another day. Back at it.
You sound like you was like running around there for a sec.
Oh yeah, I walked in the house at about 9 o'clock. So, you know, technical difficulties was me running late.
That's all right. That's okay. You know, we do that sometimes. That happens. So we just gonna get right into it, man. What record we breaking down today?
I got an unreleased one from my guy Tom Sinatra from Cleveland. I believe he's out in Seattle right now. So definitely check out
Okay.
his music. But yeah, this one unreleased track. We gonna get to it for real.
Let's do it. Where'd you start at? So I see you got the track outs on this one.
Yeah, this one is a little more in depth than the one that we did last week. So before we was talking about two tracks and how like bad they can be. Um, no, I mean just from a mix standpoint, like you
All
can't
right.
roll anything. So on this one, I got everything tracked out from the melodies I have grouped to the drums to the percussion, I believe, and then of course vocals and everything else, sins and effects and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start just by playing a little snippet of the song so you can get a feel for what it is. Then I'll start breaking stuff down.
That's dope.
Who got it? I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it. Screaming me about it. Girl, you know the deal. Don't just talk it, be about it, baby. Who got it? I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it. Screaming me about it. Girl, you know the deal. Don't just talk it, be about it, baby. Yeah. Somebody could save me, yeah. No, I'm not the same without my baby, yeah. Why you talking crazy, yeah? I've been up all night, it's making my lazy, yeah. And everything is easy. Poppin' pennies got me feeling crazy, yeah. A couple bitches and they go the same way. Going fast, bumping fast, something like a baby. I know, I go fast, spinning cash, something like a cyclone. I hit the jaw and fast
It's all.
I might go. I hit a hole and send it to my bro. Who got it? I got it.
Let the whole thing just go through, 'cause, like, the end of it, completely different.
Screaming me about it. Girl, you know the deal. Don't just talk it, be about it, baby. Who got it? I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it. Screaming me about it.
I think we can barely hear you.
Don't just talk it, be about it, baby.
No, so I'm gonna let the end part roll because it has a completely different sound on the second half of it. It has a nice little transition. So I'm just gonna go straight to it. You guys got the
Okay.
gist of the first half of the song. So the second half has like a breakdown, which is right here.
course. I was in the force of swinging doors. Rory got me moving like a horse. Oh, I'm a torch. You was on the system, no force. Yeah, I was tapping beats out like it's moist. Rory got me moving like a horse. Oh, peanut butter on the inside. Everything I do it right. Told her shawty up in my life.
You feel me?
I trying to go crazy.
It's just a little vibe for real. Just nice little vibe.
It's a nice little vibe, the boy said.
Yeah. But just let me know. What do you wanna? Where you wanna start? What question?
Man, I think the first thing for real is let's start with the how'd you break down and mix the beat?
Okay.
I
General.
guess the melodies in general. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't even start usually with melodies. Usually, I start with.
Okay.
It just depends on like. Well, I mean, you know, my background is like hip hop, so I always start drums and then I like fill it in with the melodies. So let me mute the melodies.
Who got it? I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from up.
So do you mix the drums with the vocals, or you just go straight drums?
Typically, just go straight drums.
Okay.
I balance the drums just generally because I already have like the vocal just in my head, so I'm kind of good at like keeping the overall like idea of what everything else sounds like, so I can kind of like just zone in on certain pieces to a certain extent. So like with this song, I didn't really care for the way that the bass was hitting at first. So as you can see, I split it up, I duplicated it and it split it up into threes. That way I could kind of control each like frequency range of the 808. So what did I do first? I'm gonna just start with this one. Okay, so this is like the upper range of the 808. I use a lot of R bass plugins on it. So for the upper, you'll see I had like upper frequency range like 105 hertz just to bring out some of the harmonics in it. So I did that one. Then I make my way down and I'll go down like a register, go down to like 72 hertz, bring up a little bit of that, and then I'll do the sub just to like overall bring a nice little range to it. Let me see what I did. PMR. Yeah, with the saturation, brought out and yeah, then I boosted a major boost at 60 hertz. But that was really all I really did there. A little light compression just to kind of control it a little bit.
So how do you choose? Like, what's your method of choosing what plugins to use in the VMR?
Sometimes I just go off of the templates that they have in it. I mean the presets. I saw one that said keep strip. I liked how it sounded, and I just got to tweaking at it to sounded the way I like. Like I don't never just like slap it on there and just leave it. Like you still gotta like. Right. That's you know what I mean. Then I got another one. I'm assuming this is probably the deeper one. Yeah. So it just gave it like a whole another filled it out a little bit. So I really like this Full Tech EQ boost, and then you can like cut at the same time, which gives you like a good effect because like it doesn't like overpower it. It's like you're able to like put some in but take some out, and it just gives it like a really good tone.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So why do you start with the 808? Because it sounds like you start with the 808s in the
yeah,
kick right now.
yeah, it's the foundation. Like
Okay.
it's really like honestly, it was the most problematic area in the song. So
Mm,
whatever like bothers me the most in the mix is what I start with. So I
okay.
was like, let me get this part, the foundation of the song, pretty like evened out, and then I can build on top of it. So
Mm,
that was the second layer of it. Then I have a whole another one that's just gonna add width, and it's like I play it by itself, just like straight distortion, like
mm,
spread out in the stereo field. So it's not coming up the middle like everything else. So it just gives you a fat 808 song. And with that, it's just a lot of like slight compression and then like R bass again. With these, with these, when you do the ones that are gonna be wide and blown out to the side and distorted sounding,
mm.
you want to go as high up in the frequency as possible as far as what like sounds, right? So on the R bass, like you'll see it's like 187 hertz, which is like way higher than the other one, which was like 30 and 60 hertz, you know.
Right.
Add some distortion to it. So this is without, this is with. Like it really sounds disgusting by itself, but in context to the rest of it, it blends.
It adds. Right. That's good.
Yeah. And then you know, trim tools just to kind of turn it down a little bit and all that. And I'll play it together again. Like most people think that's enough. That just that one is cool. But once you get the add to it, add the rest of the drums. And then I balance on the drums. Like I'm not about to go hi-hats and snaps and stuff. It's just really to
Right.
take. From there we'll start with melody. Always lead one top, go down the line, start fourth. It's like it's a lot of subtle stuff. Like, and none of them are heavily processed. It's just like making space for each other. Like I'll pull up
That's
some.
good. So each EQ is making space for the other one, but then they're all working together to make space for the vocals.
Yep. So as you can see, that's not even EQ. So this is for each melody. As you see, like one has a dip right here, and the other one has a boost. One has a boost right here. This one all the same frequency range. Just all in like in context with it that way. It's like a puzzle. They all gotta like fit together.
Right.
I know I'm going kind of fast, but I mean that's just the thought process.
No, that's good.
If you have a lot of melodies all in the same frequency range, you just want to like notch and boost, like boost the good frequencies that really like stand out and make the that particular instrument sound good and take out the ones that don't, and then go on to the next one and figure out how to like piece it together.
Mm-hmm.
Do the same thing with the other one. They'll usually be like somewhat opposites of each other, and just go down the line until you have the whole melody section that just is kind of like tight and glued together.
Right.
So, I do that and down to so I'll start with the leads.
Okay. Did you do comping on this one, or is this
This
a
one
mix from somebody else?
is the mix. I didn't record this one.
Okay.
So I didn't do any vocal comping, but Tone is pretty good. He's really like on his stuff like that. So I'm sure he had 10 takes of the same thing and pieced it together. Just that's how he works. But
Oh, got it, I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it, screaming me about it.
strip it down so that way you can see what I originally got.
Oh, got it, I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it, screaming me about it. Girl, you know the deal.
You know, clean cut vocal, but it's nothing. There's no like sheen to it. It's just dull. So then I always pull up my VMR. Like I said, I don't DS first. I know that's taboo. But it works for me, you know. So I pull up my VMR.
Oh, got it, I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna
Let's go down the line. I always start with a little bit of this virtual channel, which is like analog board emulation or whatever. So I start with that, just because I never really know like if they had a good preamp or not. So this is just my way of making sure, and just adds a little bit of warmth to it.
oh, got it, I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it, screaming me about it. Girl, you know the
So,
deal. Don't
just adds a little bit of warmth to it. Then I go to the EQ for this one. I really like this FGN joint.
oh, got it, I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna
So
get on.
my thought process was, since it was so like dark sounding, had no sheen to it, like roll off some of the low ends. So I took out all the way up to 80. But at the same time, I wanted to add a little bit more body to it. So I added 110, just a couple dB. Add a little bit more at 3.51 kilohertz. And then I really gave it like some top end right here.
Oh, got it, I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it, screaming me about it.
Just to carve out some of the mud and add some sheen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then roll on to compression.
Oh, got
And keep in mind, when I do a lot of compression, it's not so much for control. Sometimes I just like the tone of them. So
Just to create that character. That makes sense.
it just gives me good characters. So like with this FG stress, that's what I use it for, just really to add character. It might be taking down a few dB of reduction, but it's not really, I'm not using it to smash it or to squash it for real.
oh, got it, I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it, screaming me about it. Girl, you know the deal. Don't just talk to me about it, baby. Oh,
I heard that like it just pushed it up a little bit and gave it like a nice character that I like.
So what did like his delivery? How did that affect your mix? Because I mean, his delivery is actually good. We don't hear that often. Like, how do you think that made your job easier, or you know?
I mean, that's the cheat code. If you can find an artist that really knows how, like, recording is an art. So if you find somebody who's as in tune with that part of the art as much as they are like just writing or anything else, it's gonna be a good song. Like that's all it really takes. If you get somebody who really takes pride in like the recording process and make sure they do things the right way, the mixing is gonna be like simple because it's not much to fix. Like a lot of times when you get a record, like you're spending the whole time fixing stuff. Like,
Right.
but if the person like records it well and they take pride in the recording aspect of it, at that point you just taking something that already sounds good and making it sound great.
Mm-hmm.
That's how this record is.
Oh, got it. I got it. Motorola chirp.
I wanted a little more air in his vocal. I wanted to be a little brighter. So I really like this EQ for that. So added like 15. What did I do? I ain't really boosted that much at all. But took out some of the 7K. I guess it was a little harsh for me. Rolled out a little bit of 400. Rolled out a little bit of 200. And then, yeah, I rolled off all the way to 186 just to really, I guess, to kind of thin it out a little bit so it could compete with that 808 and all those layers that we did on the 808, just so it could like on top of all of that and like cut on top of all those melodies that we have too.
Oh, got it. I got it. Motorola chirp. Always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it. Screaming me about it. Girl, you know the deal. Don't just talk it, be about it, baby. Oh, got it. I got it. Motorola chirp. Always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on.
That's that.
Oh. So do you feel like you always start with the VMR?
It depends. It depends. If I'm not like doing any heavy DSing like out the jump, then typically, but sometimes I'll do like notching. I'll take out the frequencies that I really don't like first. So it all depends. Each vocal is different. So then I go into the
Oh, got it. I got it. Motorola chirp. Always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it. Screaming me about it. Girl, you know the deal. Don't just talk it, be about it, baby. Oh, got it. I got it. Motorola chirp. Always.
he didn't really have much that needed to be tamed, and that it was just like the chirps and stuff like that. So it's like it wasn't like constant. That's why you don't see it reacting that often. It's just like precisely where it needed to be like ducked off at. And I go to my CLA. This adds a little more body, a little more. It just makes it a little bigger sounding.
Oh, got it. I got it. Motorola chirp. Always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it. Screaming me about it. Girl, you know the deal. Don't just talk it, be about it, baby. Oh, got it. I got it. Motorola chirp. Always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on.
Adds a lot of body to it. So a lot of stuff that we taken away. Like I said, I don't like extremely thin stuff. So you'll see me like take away like problematic frequencies, but then I still want it to be like thick. So I'll add some of the stuff back, but just not in them frequency ranges.
Right.
Then C6 multi-band compression.
The
Oh,
famous
got it.
C6.
I got it.
It controls everything.
Always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it. Screaming me about it. Girl, you know the deal. Don't just talk it, be about it, baby. Oh, got it.
Talk about that
I
cut
got it.
that you made right around. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
That's like a second de-esser. Like that's pretty much what that acts as. So I'll solo that.
Oh, got it. I got it. Motorola chirp. Always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it. Screaming me about it. Girl, you know the deal. Don't just talk it, be about it, baby. Oh, got it.
Because in theory, that's all a de-esser is. It's just a multi-band compressor that's just like focusing on one targeted area. So that's a good way to like have another one in there combined with like other multi-band compression that's like shaping the vocal for real. That way I don't have to go back and put another one on down here, you know. And then from there we add the sauce.
He said the sauce.
You know, the reverb and the delay. That's what really like has it like swimming in the beat for real.
Who got it? I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it. Screaming me about it. Girl, you know the deal. Don't just talk it, be about it, baby. Ooh.
Just gives it some.
And then what reverb is that you have on that send?
Let me see. The Verb Suite Classic.
I actually have not pulled that up in at least 6 months.
Be tripping. Like I like a nice haul, you know. You know, give it a nice haul to live in, you know. But this is a sweet plugin because man, you see all the units that it emulates right here.
Mm-hmm.
You have so many different settings that you can flip through. Like you can just go and go and go and get very experimental in there. Like so, I live by this plugin for real. Like if I want to be like experimental or like try something out, this is what I go to. But if I'm just trying to like to the point and do something, I'll just use this.
Okay.
Like I know what it does. It's like it's only so many combinations you can really like mess with.
And
But,
you get your point across on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then let's go to the delay.
Who got it? I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Who got it? I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it.
You know, it just helps with the atmosphere. It just gives it a little more space to live in. That way, the vocal's not so like boring and bland. It just gives it a nice little atmosphere, some ambiance.
So I also see you got some notches right above the verse. Talk to us a little bit about your what we like to call automation.
Yeah, for me, I do this type of automation last. So I believe what happened here was I think the first verse and the second verse were one was a little hotter than the other, or I liked how the second verse was and the first verse wasn't loud enough, so I just like highlighted. No, I'm tripping. That's delay. I thought that was the volume. Yeah, so this delay. So really, I liked how the second verse was sitting for the most part. So I just wanted to put a little bit more delay on this first verse. So instead of me like just grabbing it right here and going up and down with it, which would affect both of them at the same time, you just go in and you just kind of highlight and raise up what you want to raise up.
This is the stuff they don't teach you.
Yeah, it's just a good way to to have focal points. Unless you want to like split up your first verse and your second verse and put them on different
channels
and do all that, which is extra work, extra processing power, all of that. It's easier just to automate stuff.
That's good.
Who got it? I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it.
And then he had background vocals too, which were pretty cool because I had to make that fit with all of these melodies and the lead. So
who got it? I got it. Who got it? I got it. Motorola chirp always coming from my pocket. Wanna get on me about it. Screaming me about it.
It just had to find its own space.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just rolled off a lot of the low end. Put my one knob joint on it.
One knob?
Giving too much sauce right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, bro, you giving the sauce.
I ain't tripping. If we can make music sound better as a collective, let's do it. That's the goal. What else did we do on this? I skipped over this EQ, but
I seen that.
That's what I'm saying. Like I added more body to it. Like I don't like thin sound and stuff. So I'm always in. That's always the battle in my head. Like how bright do I make something? Like how much low end do I take out of it? Like I don't like super thin sounding stuff. I want stuff to still. I wanted to have top end, but I still wanted to have like some body to it too. So.
All right.
Girl, you know the deal. Don't just talk to me about it, baby. Yeah, somebody could save me. Yeah, no one not to say without my baby. Yeah,
That's hot.
why you talking crazy? Yeah, I've been up all night, it's making my lazy. Yeah, and everything is hazy. Poppin' pillies got me feeling crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like it has that modern sound to it where it's still like bright, but it's not super thin sounding, which is always my goal. And then
I was gonna say, show us the ending. We don't got that much time left, but
right. Okay, so the ending. I'm missing a whole section. Yeah, more background vocals too. So we had these that were going through it also.
so when people send you records to mix, a lot of times they come in stereo. Do you split them mono? Do you split them to mono, the vocals, or do you mix those in stereo?
A lot of times, if it's already has processing on it, like some of his stuff has like slight processing on it, like he'll apply his own auto tune just because he knows how he wants to sound already.
Okay.
So when it comes to like stuff like that, and if he has like a little bit of reverb already on it, I'm not about to like mess with it too much, because if I get the collapsing stuff down and it already has reverb on it, it's not gonna sound right. I'm just gonna keep it spread the way he had it. That way it's not affecting any effects that he already had laid on there, and just rock with it how it is.
So what would you suggest? Because I know a lot of artists now, especially. I mean, I know we about to be lifted starting tomorrow. They said that's what they said, but I know a lot of artists are recording from home and sending stuff out a lot more now. What would you suggest for an artist to?
If you're not experienced and you don't really know, like you just gotta be honest with yourself. If you don't really know what you're doing like that, take everything pretty much off and then send a reference with everything on it. That way the engineer can hear where you're trying to go with it.
Okay.
But with him, he knows exactly what he wants to sound like, how he wants it to sound. So he puts what he wants to put on there, and then I just amplify that.
So does that affect him having the processing on there? Does that affect like you putting plugins on there, you EQ and your compression? Does that affect how you do that?
To a certain extent, I just can't go like super crazy with it. That's the only difference. Like if I can hear it and I hear that he already kind of compressed it slightly, then I'm not about to like slam it. I'm just gonna touch it just to tame what I hear is wrong.
Right.
So there's really nothing wrong with doing it that way, as long as you kind of know what you're doing and you know and you know not to like slam it and then send it to the engineer. So it's like if he just got like little slight stuff on there just to control his vocal, that's cool. Because it's the same way it would come as if it was like recorded in an analog studio where it's like through a compressor and it's just like being touched just to control it. So there's nothing wrong with that really. It's just don't kill it.
Right. And it's funny. I've been I just grabbed the SSLE channel through who is it? Who did I say? Plugin Alliance, and like my new mix template is like, it's like I'm going through a SSL board now. Like every first plugin is a SSLE channel on every channel.
That's dope.
And it's like it adds that extra character, but it does what you said. Like there's an EQ, there's a compressor, there's a gate, all in this one channel. And there's also saturation. So now it's creating that analog feel to tame everything, but then also to add that warmth. And it's like, oh, all right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that plugin hit different though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm using it like crazy at every mix now.
Dude, I looked at it, I was like, nah, I ain't. I gotta stay away from stuff like that because I'll get lost in it. It's gonna have me thinking too much. It's gonna like change my whole sound, and I'm not ready for that right now. So I'm gonna take your word for it. I'm gonna stay away from it for about 3 more months until I get back in the swing of things.
And what's crazy, I started like trying to get like do most of the work in that plugin.
Right.
Like do most of the EQ, as much EQ that I can do in that plugin, hitting the compression just enough to keep everything level but not squashing it. And like adding some saturation, some body. But then like as I started to do that, the other thing it got on there, it got filters. So it got a high pass filter and a low pass filter in there too.
Lost some of the stuff you don't like.
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, this is like my plugin, my vocal chain got so much smaller, but it's like now I can do more character to it.
Yeah. Oh man, using as less like as you possibly can to get as most as you possibly can. Because then you're not like killing your processing, especially if you got like a huge session, with, like
right,
a bunch of vocals and all that. Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm about to go buy it now. But,
I got it.
I was gonna say the deal ends today. So
nah, brother. Nah. Extended it.
Oh, he extended it?
They extended it.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, they extended it another month. As soon as I signed, it was like, yeah, we extended you another 30 days.
Yeah. I might need to go ahead and tap in.
Definitely.
All right. Well, walk us through that ending for us to end us off, man.
Okay, we had a couple more layers of backgrounds. He likes to do some transposed vocals where some of them are like higher in pitch, some were lower in pitch. I'll play that real quick.
I got it. Motorola chirp always.
Just to create a nice atmosphere. Like that's why I like working with him, because like, man, he thinks so outside the box. Like he'll come up with something that just sounds like crazy, and then we just like implement it into like the structure of all the songs for real. But that rolled into this nice little drop right here.
Oh, got it. Great man. H-Town. Got it. Oh, what a course. I was in the Porsche swinging doors. Rory got me moving like a horse. Ooh.
Like, as you can hear, like all that is just, it's about creating a vibe. It's about atmosphere. Like, if none of that had like a space to live in as far as like reverb and delay and everything, it would sound like extremely bland. So stuff like that is all about setting the vibe and setting the atmosphere so the vocal can just like live in it. So a lot of people don't in the past, like mixing wise, didn't really like that, because I mean, like, you put way more reverb than what should be on something like normally way more delayed than what should be on something normally. But as long as it serves the purpose and it creates the vibe, it's all good. Do what you do.
Right.
Like, so
That's dope.
this. And then the production did the same thing. Like it what's it called? Like double time, halftime. Like the beat down went down in like halftime just to create like that slower, like chopped and screw vibe, which was pretty dope.
But of course, I was in the Porsche swinging doors. Rory got me moving like a horse. Ooh, I'm a torch. You was on the system, no force. Yeah, I was tapping beats out like it's moist. Rory got me moving like a horse. Ooh, peanut butter on the inside. Everything I do, it
Add these back in.
nice.
Missing all the perks. Yeah.
I'm a torch. You was on the system, no force. Yeah, I was tapping beats out like it's moist. Now he got me moving like a horse. Oh, peanut butter on the inside.
But what's crazy about this session is a lot of it looks so intimidating, but it's really not that much. It's mostly levels. Like it's mostly levels and a lot of like corrective EQ just to make things sit in the right place. So I know a lot of people get like intimidated when like they'll get something like this and be like, "Oh my god, I don't know what's
I don't know what to
going."
do. I'm
Yeah,
afraid.
it's a bunch of sins and automation but it's all about getting things to sit in place.
Right.
So it's like it doesn't matter how bad the session looks sometimes as long as it's organized and you know what's going on in it. Like and then just have everything to the right place, and you'll be straight.
Oh, that's super dope. We in the mix with Shad Hitz, everybody. Shad, make sure you shout yourself out, man. Shout out what tell us what this song is. Is it out right now? What's the word on that?
It's unreleased, so
okay, exclusives.
Yeah. Nothing but exclusives. Last week we broke a record. This time I'm sharing something I probably shouldn't be. But
that's what we do, man. We share knowledge. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Where can they find you at, bro?
Follow me on Instagram. I am Shad Hitz. That's I am SHADHITZ. Check me out on my website. IamShadHitz.com. Yeah, get at me.
If they wanted to like ask you any questions, would you rather them Instagram DM you or email you?
Yeah, DM me because I always got my phone in my hand. So if I see that email, I might think it's a spam or something. So just shoot me a DM.
Hilarious. Hey man, I think it'd be cool, man, if we I don't know, we can talk offline to see, but if we like created something for them in the next session or in the next week, just make like just start a Pro Tools session from scratch or any DAW software. I think we do Pro Tools and then we just create a template and show them how to create a template because that's the beginning stages,
Yeah, definitely, and that's the most time consuming part too, especially if you're trying to have a consistent workflow. Creating a template or creating a session from scratch every single time you record somebody or record yourself is going to kill your creative process. So
right,
you always want to have your scenes and everything set up from jump, that way you can just get to it.
Right, and then we can show them how to set it up for their computer, like, and everything. Like, I think that'll be cool because what we're doing, it actually started from Mike's session on Wednesday. We're starting an email blast so that after these are over, people are able to, get content. And we'll actually add like, hey, like definitely if you missed this, Shad used this compressor, or he uses this as his go-to, you should definitely go check it out. And here's where you can go buy it. Here's one of the things that we talked about, you know, and because Mike and Robert, they drop knowledge and information all the time. Like they're always dropping like, oh yeah, go check out this website and this organization and this organization. And I'm like, man, like everybody's like, yo, we need that stuff. So I think this will be good for people in this sound, because it's like we could also spread it out. So hey, we'll create the template online, for Pro Tools, and then I can go back and I can pretty much make the template in any DAW and send them all out at once, you know.
Yeah, that's dope. I'm with it.
That should be cool. I'm excited. Welcome to the Zone Media. This is what we do, man. We provide y'all information. We give y'all what y'all need. We make sure we do what we do. If y'all got any questions, if y'all want to see something different, don't hesitate to ask us. Don't hesitate to hit us up. You can check us out at THAZONEMEDIA everywhere. If we hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, I'll be dropping a free sample kit for everybody. And then if we hit 50 followers on Twitch, I will be dropping an exclusive kit, plus a collaboration on Twitch only. So definitely tap in with us. Make sure you don't miss tomorrow's show. We'll be locked in with the artist and producer spotlight. We got an artist from Kentucky. His name is William Bryant, who will be showcasing, and a producer right here from Cleveland, Ohio. His name is Benny Bevel. We just really gonna push out, man. We were trying to expose the culture to everybody and make connections and collaborate, because collaboration thrives creativity. So just remember to always create, because you're created by the creator. We out.